do the two lots of threes, see if tarot is still playing, and then we'll do a Stargate, a star map, the Stargate map, so that you can have a look at that, and then see if you can see the way I see it through what you've learned so far. And then if we like do 10, just out of my training pack, we just do 10 cards. First, second. Oh, that's just really simple. It says there's nothing happening where no change and nothing really happening where your work is concerned. And the Two of Wands can be an indication of 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. It's just really, don't worry about it. Nothing's happening where your work is concerned. So have you got a job?
No. No.
Nothing's happening there.
Yeah. And there's been, I'm always throwing into the mix, do I need to go out and get a job? And do I need to go out? Do I need to fix this? And we just keep sort of putting it off because it tends to upset the balance of the universe.
It's not seeming to. It's just not going to. You're not going to be working. Doesn't say for how long. That's all that says. Sometimes simple things like that can be exactly what you need to hear.
Yeah.
So it takes the pressure off, thinking maybe you can put them away. Let's have a look at Jackie's 3. Give them a shuffle in between, Victoria, because we're going to look at 3 more.
Yeah.
Cool. First one. Second one. Okay, May, June, July. Whose birthday's in July or August?
July and August, no one that I can think of.
All right, there's a really quick notification because your Page of Swords is speed. It's not the drug. It can be the drug. Worth knowing, but your 3 of Wands is an indication of timing. 3 days, 3 weeks, or 3 months. I don't think it's 3 years. So I got the 3-month thing with it. So the 4 of Wands, by the way, can be like a wedding or a celebration or a party or a festival.
Yeah.
And so it's a quick indication that it might be, what are we in today? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It could be Wednesday. You'll know come Wednesday that it's not Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then if it's 3 weeks from now, mark it in your diary and see what happens around that date in 3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
And if it's 3 months, we know it's the July, August period of time because we're not quite in May yet. And
so if I looked at that me, I mean, I don't retain it. I'm very green, but so it's quite pictorially that's what it says, eh? Like
what? Say that again, please.
Like pictorially, well, I don't know if that's the word, but if I look at the pictures, that looks like a party.
That's all you need to do.
That's fast, and that's 3. Sweet.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But the thing is, it's not for you.
Yes.
It's for one of us.
Uh-huh.
The same as what Victoria saw, even though it could sound like Victoria, it's actually not for Victoria, it's for one of us. It's odd, I know. It can seem like it reflects back on self, but it's not. Tarot doesn't speculate. It just says there's no work.
Okay.
Because that 4 of Swords with nothing. You've still got them in front of you, Victoria?
No, I've shuffled.
Well, the 4 of Swords was nothing. Nothing. That's what the 4 of Swords is. Nothing. Nothing's happening. Because the person's just laying down on the slab. If it turned up, funnily enough, with the Hierophant or sometimes with the 3 of Pentacles, it can have reference to some of the French architecture where the knights or the kings were buried, or the queens were buried in their cathedrals, weirdly enough. Because when you look at the 3 of Pentacles, you've got that stained glass window at the top. And the Hierophant, of course, has got to do with religion. Yes, it's all visual. And the visual interprets in the brain. That's how this works. It's great to understand this. It's totally visual. Look at them. All you've got to do is look at them and you'll see the meanings. But it's like if I put a cup with an elastic band, it doesn't mean anything. But I know this is a cup and I know this is an elastic band. Somehow the cup and the elastic band will be a future event.
Yeah.
it sort of seems that silly, but it's actually not. So That was it. Let's have a look at your next three, Victoria. Happy, joy, joy. That's the wish card, by the way, followed by the tower, which is absolutely crazy. What's the third one? The third one will tell it.
Others.
That's interesting. So pretty hard to pick because the Nine of Cups really disrupts the idea of it. Now, I will explain something large. I don't know what the Nine of Cups is possibly doing with the Tower and the Lovers card. The Tower and the Lovers card, by the way, the Lovers card was, even with the Tower, was the Twin Towers that came down in 2001. Because the Lovers card represents twins if it comes with a baby. It represents the time of Gemini, which is that idea of Janus and the twin faces. It can represent lungs, being two separate aspects of the body. It can represent breasts also. It can represent kidneys, where you've got two of anything like that. Ovaries, similarly, okay? We don't know in this instance who or what that's got to do with. It could be a world event, but the Nine of Cups is the wish card. So whenever that disaster happens, somebody's very happy. Now just keep a note of that. It doesn't tell us when, but because it's not personal, Victoria, it's really important to keep a reference that whoever it's for, this would be somebody, for example, I'm just going to speculate. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Who thinks they have lung cancer and find out all it is bronchitis.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
the Tower is the
Yeah.
temperature, the extreme trauma of that. And it can also be somebody, the Lovers card can quite often be a ménage à trois, which is three people having sex together. Not everybody's really happy, always happy about that. I do see a lot of polyamory nowadays, and it's worth remembering that that's going to show up with the Two of Cups and the Lovers card as well, and quite often with the Three of Cups, which is three people together. And if the three people turn up with the Two of Cups and the Lovers card, that's quite often three people having sex together or a crowd. That's all fine. But that wish card beside the Tower is really interesting. So I would be speculating, and it can also be a time, but it has got that feeling of why is somebody happy when a disaster takes place? Why is somebody, because the Nine of Cups is the wish card, or a self-satisfied little fuck is the other thing. Turn the cards around, have a look at yourself, darling Victoria, even though we're going to see them on the video. See how that happy, happy, joy, joy, when that came out, I'm going, oh, look, that's wish fulfillment. But then the Tower came and I went, what? Really, that doesn't go with happiness. And then the Lovers card is the Two. So it doesn't represent two people, and it doesn't represent lovers. Lovers is where it gets really grainy and tricky. So don't ever get trapped in that. It can represent two, like it did come through as the Twin Towers. And that was death. That was Star card, Death card, Lovers. Star card, Tower, Lovers. And the Star card was airplanes, or that which was from high, creating an explosion, which is the Tower card. It can also be thunderstorms and also volcanic activity. Yes, but it also can relate to what we talked about earlier about that woman in Sarajevo who ran to the window to have a look at the bombing. Did she have a choice?
Yeah, she's stoked.
Yeah, because she knew she was safe because the bombing, they weren't coming towards the cafe.
Yeah.
They were only able to act when they had reference, which is that idea of choice, which is the ultimate meaning of the Lovers card is choice. If you can write that down, that's really important to remember, because so many people see it turn up on the table and they smile and they go, oh, it means I'm going to have a lover. And I'm going, no, not quite that simple. And Victoria, if you, or even Jackie, if you got that dealing with the public and you felt sick, I'm not at all surprised, because it's really senseless. Unless someone gets really intense pleasure. But no, it doesn't even work that way. I don't know what that means. I just see it as somebody who's really satisfied with the trauma of lungs or breasts. We'll know later. You'll come back and tell me in a couple of months' time. You'll hear about it. I know. Isn't it confusing? And it leaves you momentarily feeling like, what the fuck am I even doing this for if it makes no sense? But it's not supposed to make sense to us.
Mm.
When the event happens for the person, they go, oh, light bulbs.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really necessary to just absorb the information and not get too trapped.
But that for you to pitch, yes, you say lungs and breast. Do you get an image of that, or do you get auditory, or do you just
It's an immediate knowledge, and so quite often, even when I think of certain cards that will represent places, like the strength card can represent the desert in Australia as easily as it can represent Saudi Arabia, as easily as it can represent France, because the Lyon is part of France. Weirdly enough, I get information like that. It's like following a forensic trail on the location.
Yes.
And then you go, and as soon as you hit the word, it's physically go, oh, I got it. I know.
Yes.
And then it's like you've gone through this maze of possible meanings, then boom, you've hit it.
And have you found out that you've come up with things that you'd never even heard of? Like if, say, I've got very poor geography, does like archaic, what's it called? Was it archaic records, or does all those past things come into play for knowledge like that?
I don't use that term because it's Hindu, and I'm not Hindu.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about Akashic records, and I don't use that term because
Yeah.
I refuse to misappropriate in other people's background. I mean, other people's
Okay. I don't know much about it, but I just heard it was past.
You must know about it. You
Okay.
must. It's really important that the first thing that you have to learn, and this is the only time I'll use the term have to,
Yeah.
is when you employ your language to other people.
Yeah.
If you utilize the language of a new ageist, that's how you'll be viewed. You need to put this in language that's very, very real to the person in front of you, even if you don't know what their job is.
Yeah.
And you won't. That with the best thing, that's the most important thing that your clients can do is to shut up. And that's right. It's in big bold letters on my website. Do not speak to me until we get to the end. I don't want to know what you think it is. And people will come back to me in the future and they go, I've listened to my recording and I didn't shut up. And you kept on ignoring me, but I kept on talking, and I should have known, but I knew better. And it's like, because I'm also not allowed to judge people. I give them the option up front.
Yes,
but I don't want to know. The less I can know, the better, because otherwise you go, you like your little rabbit ears prick up and you think, oh, I'm onto it.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, I'm right. And then you're trapped by your ego. You're trapped by the ego, you see. You think you know and you don't. It really, and it can, in some instances, it can be a little bit tearing. And again, that's one instance is a woman in Melbourne, very close. When I was first going to Melbourne to read cards, to read tarot, I stayed with a friend who had been the photographer for Fiona Horn when Fiona Horn was writing Witch, which was disgusting, by the way. Furballs. But I became really good friends with the photographer. If Tarot had told her she's going to have another child. Okay, so she goes into the IVF program. I'm back and forward to Melbourne with the computer, going into Spellbox, reading cards. The first day I was there, because I'd made an appointment to read her cards on the Thursday. The first day that I was there, which was a Monday, I went into Spellbox, read tarot all day. I'm coming back on the train, and I heard, as clear as I hear my voice right now, she's going to want to know something before next Thursday. I knew that she was going to be able to get work on a film that she really wanted to performance art space that she really wanted to do, and she was going to love every bit of it. And I also knew that she was going to want to have another baby. This is before she told me. So I got home that afternoon to her house, and I walked inside, I put my computer down, put my gear down, went up to the bench. She's making me a cup of tea. I said, I've got 2 things to tell you before now and Thursday. She said, Lie, I'm pregnant. And I went, oh. Because Tarot didn't say you're going to have another baby or you're pregnant. It said you're going to want to have another baby. I said, well, we'll do more on Thursday. She said, yeah, okay. And that night she miscarried. Years later, she's still doing IVF, and I'm saying, what if Tarot was wrong? And she said, shut up. It never has been. And now she has this incredible baby. Oh, he's a young man now. So it did happen. This is where even the wording can matter. It didn't say you're
yeah,
pregnant. Okay.
Yes.
I've sat with people going, oh, you're pregnant. And there's the Ace of Wands with the Empress card. Pregnancy, right in front of you. And of course, yes, that's happened. Then you'll get dead people in the room. So how can death happen? It's another weird one. And that's for a whole other story. There's so much that we could talk about, but I don't want to waste your night by just giving you anecdotes. So let's have a look at those next three cards, please.
This one.
Temperance, right? Okay.
And that one.
Again, the second lot are weirding me out because that is an indication of a person crossing water. Six of Swords.
Yeah.
The Temperance card is for healing or health, so it could be a retreat or whatever. The Temperance card is a real card of harmony, or also negotiation and mediation. Tightrope walker, very definitely through the dark night of the soul. With the Six of Swords can be a surfer, can be somebody who's boating, can be somebody who's also on kayak, someone who gets just the overwater. If we're going to Melbourne for a couple of days, for 4 days, there's that Four of Pentacles. Okay, if I was going to go for a health checkup, the Temperance card can be health and healing. So that's a different one. So somebody else is trying. But again, Jackie's over water, aren't you, Jackie?
That could mean I'm going on an awesome holiday in 4 months. For who?
Temperance is pretty. It's got two really strong meanings. One of which has got to do with health, and quite very often a healer, a nurse, or someone working in medical industry or as a health professional will get the Temperance card. And it also is that it represents on its own art and alchemy, that idea of unfolding. And it very often will turn up with somebody who's going into a retreat or getting healing done, getting health work done, etc. And your Four of Pentacles just looks like a time sequence to me.